Back to the daily grind, and shout out to the full-time patrons. Make sure to hit subscribe if you're new and hit thumbs up if you're not a baby back bagel biting bitch boy, cause you know what time it is. It's full time.
MMA.
And it's your boy Taco Bell Wani, and before we get to the news, y'all know I'm about to grind hard today. I only put out 2 videos yesterday, did my predictions, and I feel like, I still put some stuff out, but that's not enough. Y'all know it's fucking grind time. So with that being said, I have to start this video out by saying thank you to my boy Charlie Sellers. And I usually don't like saying people's last names, you know what I'm saying, but my motherfucking dog. Thank you for everything you've done to help me out, man, and also everyone else, you know what I'm saying. But my boy Charlie Sellers came through in a big way recently. I hit him up and said, yo, y'all know I don't even ask for shit. Fucking Genesis started fucking garnishing my account. All bad. Helped me out. So thank you very much again and again. And also to everyone else that's ever helped, even if you're just watching the channel. Thank you guys. But with that, all that sentimental shit aside, let's put that aside and get to this very interesting video. Dustin Poirier has said that on the MMA Hour this Monday that Eddie Alvarez turned down the rematch 5 times, including at UFC 223. Now that's the biggest deal here, because Eddie Alvarez, he has been, we've been hearing about him not really wanting to fight this Poirier rematch too quick. Now Poirier low-key might have jumped past him in the queue. Let me explain. Man, this is fucking really interesting, something we got going on here between Eddie Alvarez and Dustin Poirier. Whew, when they end up meeting again, it's going to be such a fucking great fight, bro. So, first you remember, they fought Dustin Poirier and Eddie Alvarez. The fight ended in a no contest. Actually, Dustin Poirier was getting the better of Eddie Alvarez, in my opinion, in the first round. Was really, you know, doing really well. Won the first round. But then Eddie Alvarez looked like he started to come back in the second round. But the thing is, he threw a fucking illegal knee that did some damage. And Dustin Poirier, you know, he's fucking down there holding his head and shit. His head's even bleeding a little bit. And so, like, I think the refs asked him to continue. He's like, I can't continue the fight. And so a lot of times when that happens, when a fighter throws an illegal knee and the other fighter can't continue, the fighter gets DQ'd and Poirier just gets that W. But the fight was called a no contest, which threw everything off for Dustin Poirier, because it's like, alright, if it's a no contest, let's rematch. Well, the thing is, Eddie Alvarez wasn't really too open to the immediate rematch. He actually ended up getting booked. And, you know, in the very first time, I don't know if the UFC offered it to Eddie Alvarez, but I'm just telling you how it's been playing out from what I've been seeing. But Dustin Poirier's been like, okay, so let's do the rematch if that's what it is, if it's a no contest, you know. And the whole deal about the no contest, if you watched it, you can go check it out for yourself. Eddie Alvarez originally was saying, yo, Dustin Poirier wanted out of the fight, and, you know, was pulling a veteran move by saying he couldn't continue, but it was an illegal strike, you know what I'm saying? So the fight was called off. Dustin Poirier, no matter what, you know what I'm saying, if he said he couldn't continue and thought he was gonna get the win, it is what it is. You threw the illegal strike, but at the same time, he really could have not been able to. It was a pretty good knee. So with that being said, it was called a no contest, which was surprising, which means there was no clarity. We don't really know who wins the fight. So with that being said, there was a lot of talk about an immediate rematch. It didn't end up happening for whatever reason. But Eddie Alvarez went and did the Ultimate Fighter season 26, where he coached against Justin Gaethje. So it's Dustin Poirier was like, yo, we just got a no contest. He illegally kneed me, and he's getting rewarded by not having to rematch me, but getting to go on the Ultimate Fighter and then fight Justin Gaethje on a big card. I thought, you know, we're supposed to be rematching here. So Dustin Poirier went on to fight Eddie Alvarez, Dustin Poirier went on to fight Anthony Pettis. So he got that W, finished Anthony Pettis. Eddie Alvarez coached the Ultimate Fighter against Justin Gaethje. They went on to fight on the big card, UFC 219. Eddie Alvarez beat Justin Gaethje, first one to give him a loss, first one to finish Justin Gaethje. So now Eddie Alvarez is like, yo, I just beat a top 3 guy. I'm waiting for the belt. I'm not fighting this guy. You know, Dustin Poirier would be a step back for me in a sense right now. Even though they had the no contest and they're both coming off of wins, Eddie Alvarez is like, yo, I did tough and fought a higher guy, so I'm still a little I'm past Poirier. Well, now Poirier has closed the gap by beating the same guy that Poirier beat. I mean, that Alvarez beat. They both beat Justin Gaethje now. They both knocked out Justin Gaethje. And Poirier, if you noticed on the mic, called out Khabib. He didn't call out Alvarez because he's, according to him, been trying to get the Alvarez fight. He's like, yo, this dude's turned down the fight 5 times, including at UFC 223. So you know, if the next person to fight Khabib could be Eddie Alvarez, it could be me. But I'm not about to call him out when he's been turning me down. Now that I've got this opportunity, I'm calling out for the belt. But at the same time, let's talk about Eddie Alvarez turning down the fight at UFC 223. If this is facts. Dustin Poirier doesn't really have any reason to lie. He was actually like, yo, I wasn't even going to bring this up. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't that big of a deal. I had stuff in front of me. I had to get through Gaethje first. I wasn't even planning on bringing this up. But yeah, he turned me down 5 times, and one of those times was at UFC 223. Now, if you remember at UFC 223, that's where the Conor McGregor madness happened and 4 fights were canceled, and Khabib ended up having to fight the number 11th ranked Al Iaquinta because there was a lightweight on the card. They needed somebody for the title fight. So Al Iaquinta ended up essentially getting sacrificed to Khabib. Now Khabib's the undisputed champion. But if Dustin Poirier and Eddie Alvarez were on the card, like Dustin Poirier saying he had the opportunity, if one of these guys, who gets the fight if not Al Iaquinta? If all those fights get canceled, Poirier's like, you know, I'm being real. It wouldn't even have been me. Eddie Alvarez would have got that opportunity. So by turning down the fight with me, he missed his title shot against Khabib. So that's pretty interesting right there. But I will say, with all of that being said, I don't know if Dustin Poirier is going to get a title shot immediately next, even though him or Alvarez could. They're both #1 contenders at this point. They both, Poirier, not #1 contenders in the sense of, like, you know, when it was Khabib and Tony Ferguson. But Dustin Poirier beat a former champion in Anthony Pettis. He just finished Justin Gaethje. But since there's so much of a logjam up there, you can't really call them contenders with Conor McGregor, #1 contender with Conor McGregor, Tony Ferguson, and Khabib up there still. A lot of madness. But Conor McGregor's gone. Tony Ferguson's injured. So between Eddie Alvarez and Dustin Poirier, if you take it that way, they are the #1 contenders. But that means now might be the perfect time for that rematch, for the Poirier-Alvarez rematch, once and for all. Who's going to win the rematch? But the thing is, will Alvarez accept it? Does he want the fight now? Poirier said, I'm not going to ask for it, but I'm also not going to turn it down. If they offer me this fight again with Eddie Alvarez, I'm not going to turn it down, but I'm not asking for it again. I asked for it 5 times. So with that being said, this is really interesting. With the way the lightweight title picture is right now, with Khabib probably going to be observing Ramadan soon, so he'll probably be out for a couple months, and then Conor McGregor's still out, and then Tony Ferguson's injured. This is probably the fight to make it lightweight right now between Eddie Alvarez and Dustin Poirier to see who's the clear number one contender. That doesn't count Conor McGregor and Tony Ferguson in the lightweight division. But a great fight. We got to see a little bit of it. Ended in a no contest. They both fucking fought their way to where they're back as the #1 contenders, and we might see it again, and there's all of this going into it. This would be a great fight. Great build going into it, I could imagine. Let the full-time family know what you think in the comments about Eddie Alvarez potentially turning down the rematch with Poirier 5 times, including at UFC 223, which Poirier pointed out, if one of us was going to get the title fight, it would have been him. He's higher ranked. Alright, I'm out. And as always, thanks for watching this video. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit the subscribe button and also hit the notification bell right next to it so you're notified every time I upload a video. I'm out.
This is #1 bullshit.